Bienvenidos, Fright fans. I am Jaime Fuego.
And I'm Marcia Parker.
And we are back on the horror show for some spoilerific stuff about Jim Jarmusch's Only Lovers Left Alive.
Yes, and there is a lot to talk about this that we didn't get to touch base on.
We kind of weren't allowed to, because we can't divulge too much. But this is where we're just going to let it all hang out. We're going to suck that corpse dry. So
Right, and we were talking about how Detroit was kind of like a reveal, not so much as a telltale, but they revealed Detroit in kind of a really fun way. If you want to go ahead.
Yeah, fun and just kind of, maybe even more so informative, because it shows what the city is really like now, and it's kind of desolate, and it really helps to set that eerie, kind of creepy mood that pervades the entire film.
Like, he picked that specific location because it's been abandoned by everybody, and they do some really cool shots
Mr. Tom Hiddleston
of the different buildings that have been left behind, and the vacancy of the area, and then the really awesome theater that he takes Eve to was just amazing. He was talking about how they spent
some
so
gothic
much
romanticism there.
Yeah, they spent all this money on this place, and then now it's a car lot. It's like crazy and beautiful stuff. So, but yeah, and like even Eve was talking about because they were like, well, it's so sad that this place is so abandoned, and she goes, I'm sure it'll live again because this is where the water is.
And it's all cyclical too, just like even the fact that vampire movies came back in the fashion in which they did, just like zombie films came back. It's all cyclical. So, just like their love in the film too, they'd been away for a while, and then the magnetism just drew them back, and so
we didn't reveal the part where Adam was. Well, we did kind of touch base that he was suicidal, but we didn't say to what avail. Like, he actually had his, go-to guy, supplier guy that would find him all these cool, things,
A.K.A. Charlie Bartlett, the Odd Thomas, Anton Yelchin. Yeah, also Chekhov in the new Star Trek films.
Right. But he had him go get a wooden bullet for him with brass casings, the densest wood you can possibly find. Just
going to end it all. He was seriously contemplating it. And Eve ends up finding it in the film, and she is none too happy after she arrives. And she's like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah, you're such a drama queen, pretty much. And he kind of was a little bit of a drama queen.
Hey, he's a rock star, man.
So
we get overly dramatic sometimes. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
But, there's some really cool stuff. The sister was a tornado.
She was. Eve's younger sister, Asa, I believe her name was. Ava, that's right. Yeah, Ava. Yeah, she comes from LA, like a bat out of hell, man. And no pun intended, because she's also a vampire.
Typo negative.
Yeah. Woo!
Just having a blast.
Rest in peace, Peter Steele.
And it's kind of funny because it totally reminds you of, if you have a younger sister, which I am the younger sister, so I don't really think it really holds true. So you were the Hellraiser then? I don't think it holds true, but it's the stereotypical, immature sister that comes in, will drink all your blood and
that's exactly
kill
what she
your
did,
friends.
Train your guy who gets your guitar gear. So Tom Hiddleston, Mr. Lestat in the film, was not too happy about having his little errand boy get sucked dry by Eve's sister.
Yeah,
so no bueno. It was kind of sad. He was a great character.
There's
a
good line though, because she goes, "I feel so sick," and she's like, "He's a musician. What did you expect?" So, that was kind of fun, but,
I'm saying nothing.
I really do hate, they didn't really, you kind of get the idea of why they didn't talk to her for 87 years, because, when they were talking, she's going to come, oh, God, remember what happened in Paris? This is horrible. It's been 87 years. I'm sure she's fine now, but obviously she still wasn't playing by the rules.
Yeah,
she
they
wanted
learned
to
their
have
lesson.
fun.
They end up kicking her out again based on her silly behavior.
Fuck you guys, whatever,
But it does leave them in a tough spot, though, which for our third spoiler, the fact that she drains all their blood and the fact that they're not out there chomping on people, they actually have to get it rationed. They go back across the pond to Europe to talk with John Hurt, who is this really old vampire who claims to be Kristopher Marlowe. And then the biggest reveal near the end of the film is he's like, I drank some tainted blood. He's about to die. He takes credit for writing all of Shakespeare's poems, and because they were contemporaries, and that's just getting a little historical on you horror fans. But there was lots of whispers through different literary circles that this Marlowe guy, he wrote all the poems, and stuff that Shakespeare was so big for.
Right.
And Shakespeare
right.
wrote some spooky stuff, Macbeth and Hamlet and whatnot. So
they even said something like, before she even went to go see Adam, he was like joking around. He's like, "Oh, I wish I would have met Adam before I wrote Hamlet, because he would have made an awesome Hamlet."
Yeah.
So
there's lots of cool little in references like that if you really pay close attention to what John Hurt says, because he's only in a little bit of the film. But,
And it was really emotional for them when he died, because
he was their pusher. He's their supplier. They didn't have any more blood to
But
get.
it also kind of made them face their own mortality. It's kind of like what they say when, I hear it more of like on a male side, like when a male loses his mother or father, or even just, I guess it would work for a female as well. When your parents die, you kind of face with your own mortality. And that's kind of what it felt for them, because he was the older one. He took care of them, held their hand. They really, he loved them as they were his children, and they held his hand when he died. And it was pretty crazy.
But after you've lived for centuries, you probably start to think you're indestructible. And so when they see their buddy go down, their mentor of sorts, they were facing down the end here at the conclusion of the film, and they're like, well, we can either die or we can resort to actually sucking down on some live people, and you can guess what they do. So
they had
it's
no
a good
choice.
fitting,
They kind
it's
of had
a fitting
to go back
climax to the entire.
Yeah, and it was kind of beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Well, when
because they're going back to Bonnie and Clyde mode,
Yeah, they're sitting there and they're talking about everything, and just like there's no more blood, and then they see this couple come out, and they're just going at it, and they're
it's
watching
a youthful
them.
couple in love, and they get the little reminiscing, and they're like, let's drink some of that youthful spirit out of them. So
we're just gonna turn them, right? We're not gonna kill them. It's like, oh, you're such a romantic.
Yeah. So it's a good note for the film to end on, and it's a good note for us to wrap it up on, because it's cool to see the progression of them, and yet things still being cyclical, connections being solid, and still ready to get pretty gory if they need to.
Yeah, and there was a really cool shot when it showed them turn excuse me, and do you have the time? And then they look up and they turn into full blown vampire, and it was pretty cool.
So yes, there's a lot of twists and cool turns that, well, if you're watching the spoiler with us, you already know.
Yeah.
So,
hopefully you should watch it, because it's
you should
totally
watch it
worth
again.
watching.
Maybe we mentioned something that you didn't notice the first time you watched it, right?
Yeah,
So,
I kind of want to watch it again too, just to see if I can pick up some extra stuff, because it's definitely one of those movies that you have to really take everything in.
it's layers, lots of cool stuff to soak up. So,
Yeah.
So yes, thank you for soaking in the blood with us for this spoilerific review of Only Lovers Left Alive.
Yep. And come join us at our webpage, www.thehorrorshowchannel.com.
So much social media to scope out as well. We have rad photos on Instagram. We also have Twitter, lots of news there, and Facebook. So let's connect, like, share, subscribe, all that radness. We appreciate it. Yep. And also, don't forget to give us some comments below about who you think the sexiest vampire of all time is. Whether it's Lestat or, I don't know, one of the guys from the Lost Boys, whatever it may be, leave those comments below. Because Hiddleston was in full-on heartthrob mode in this one, right?
Yeah,
Looking very good, yes.
And remember, until next time,
stay scared. We'll drink your blood.